My name is Dov. I am 1/3 of the band Distant Cousins, which I'm streaming from our Distant Cousins page right now. And I'm going to play some songs tonight, about the next half hour or so. I recently recorded and released my first solo Hebrew album. It's okay that my bandmates know. David and Ami, my cousins, my brothers, we all root for each other. We all have lots of projects that we do. So, first of all, before I even begin, I actually just want to first wish a happy birthday to Erez Safar, who put this whole Light of Infinite together. Happy birthday, Erez, if you're watching, Chaim. Erez and I go way back. I used to be in a band called Blue Fringe, and we cross paths all the time. Musically, we've gone on tour together. And Erez is incredible for all of you who know him. He's always... Infinite is perfect for him too, because he just has a million projects and handles and names, and he's always doing a million things, and he does them well. That's the impressive part. So Erez, thank you for putting this all together. Thank you for inviting me. Shout out to my wife Ora Schwartz, who just gave a beautiful class about a half hour ago on gratitude. I'm a lot happier right now. Thank you, Ora. So that's it. Welcome to my living room. And I'm going to play some music for you. I wanted to try something different tonight. Well, first of all, like I said, I recently put out this Hebrew album. It's called Your Faith in the Night, which is the translation of a phrase that we have in our prayers, Emunatcha BaLeilot. And I actually heard once a really beautiful insight about that phrase, and that's why it's always stood out to me, and I love it, is because it's part of a phrase, a longer verse, pasuk, that starts in the day, tov lehodot lashem ulehagi baboker chasdecha. So in the morning it's good to talk about chasdecha, means your chesed. So it's talking to God that it's good for us to talk about your chesed, chasdecha, your kindness, your benevolence, all of that in us, for us. And then it says Emunatcha BaLeilot, and your faith in the night. And so technically it's actually talking about God's faith. So I love that idea that God has faith in us. And then nighttime obviously as a metaphor for our dark times, just to remember that God has faith in us and that we should have a faith in ourselves as well. Most people translate it as our faith in God, which we do have too, but it's also good to remember that God has faith in us. So without further ado, I'm going to try playing these songs. Haven't performed most of these songs live at all. I don't even know, I guess this is live, technically Facebook Live. The first song I'm going to play is the first song on the album. It's a very heavy topic to take on. We can get into it in a minute, but I feel like I'm talking too much. Let's play some music. But I will say it's called Villa Malshinim, and as I mentioned, I used to play a lot of shows with Blue Fringe and solo, and I went on a tour with Erez called the 40 Days, 40 Nights tour that he put together with me and Love, for those of you who know him. We had so much fun all together. It was not 40 days, but hey, it was still a lot of fun. And I played this song that I'm about to play, Villa Malshinim. So when I put it out on the album, Erez was like, dude, this song is old. You've had this forever. Which is true, but I never released it. I never did anything. So I'll talk a little bit more about the album as we go, but it's been way too long without playing a song already. So here we go, Villa Malshinim. And what I'm going to try, because I really am proud of the album that I worked on together with my producer Josh Grange and all the layers that we did, I'm going to try playing along to the instrumental. That's why this huge amp is here. So I'm actually singing now. Don't worry, you're not being, it's not like a Super Bowl show. I'm not lip syncing. I'm singing and playing guitar along to the instrumental music of the album. All right, here's Villa Malshinim. And it's live. There we go. That's what happens. Now we got the right key. Oh, All right, so that's the first song on the album called Vilam Al Shinim, and I guess I should, I think I mentioned that these are all in Hebrew for those of you who don't know. Just to want to back up a little bit and give a little context of why I did this album. A lot of these songs, like that one, I had written years ago, I think either while I was with Blue Fringe or at the end of it, and I just kind of sat around on my computer. Many songwriters can relate. You have these ideas and just sit around, and I never really thought I would do much with it. And then I moved to Nashville, that's where I am right now, about 2 years ago. And part of the reason was I took a job as the cantor in residence at Shereth Israel. If anybody comes to Nashville, hit us up. It's a very welcoming, warm community. And I have the experience of now leading all these prayers and leading these services that I've been praying my whole life and have thought about, but really not at the same level as when you're leading services. And I really wanted to do my correct, due diligence and preparation, and so I really dove in. There's that drum fill, and really tried to learn all about the prayers as much as I possibly could, so I'm in the right headspace. So as I was doing that, and as I've been leading these prayers, a lot of melodies started coming to me. I'll talk about some of these in a bit, how just there's a natural rhythm to some of these words and rhyme, and I couldn't believe some of them don't have tunes, at least that I know. So that's where it came from. That's where all these songs have developed. And then I reached out to this guy, Josh Grange. For those of you who know, he's an amazing pedal steel player, amazing producer, and he lives in Nashville. And I came to him with this batch of songs, and I said, I'm not sure if you'll understand them. They're all in Hebrew. And he's like, oh man, I haven't heard some of these prayers since my bar mitzvah. So that was interesting. I didn't expect that twist. And we started really discussing each prayer before we recorded the song so that he could get into the right headspace too, as we produced it. And I had about 2 weeks where my kids and wife were not here in the house, and I called him. I was like, let's do the album. So we did it all at his place in 2 weeks. It's called Your Faith in the Night. You could check it out. And this one is one of my favorites on there. It's called Ki Hu Levado. And it came from really what I was saying, where I would be leading these prayers, and I noticed with this one in particular that everything was rhyming, and just a natural rhythm to it. And as I was singing it each day, I was like, I don't think I know a tune for this one. It's not one of the popular ones. It's right before you get to the Shema. And I sat at the piano, and it just was one of those experiences that does not happen all the time, I'm not going to lie. But the whole song just came out. Granted, the lyrics were written. That helps, Anyway, L'chaim, everybody, if you have at home. We got some Tennessee whiskey. We got some water. So this one's called Ki Hu Levado. Let's see if I can find it in the Siddur quickly enough. Probably should have saved the page. Here we go. So right before the Shema, and actually I love the Kohen Siddur because of the way the layout is, if you can see. It goes perfectly. So Ki Hu Levado actually starts it, and that means for he alone. And I love that phrase. That starts it, and I flipped it. I took a little, artistic, poetic license, and I used that as the chorus. But then Poel Givurot, Oseh Chadashot, Baal Milchamot, Zorea Tzedakot, Matzmiach Yishurot, Boreh Refuot, Norah Tehilot, Adon HaNiflaot. So obviously all of that needs to be a song, so that's where we came from. And then Or Chadash Al Tzion, that phrase is really popular, Or Chadash, a new light. But it means, actually my favorite part of this whole phrase, which I ended up singing in English as you'll hear in the bridge, is that may you make a new light shine over Zion, Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir. But the next part, the modifier, is super important. V'nizkeh chulanu meheira li'aro. And may we soon be worthy of its light. So it's not just asking for a new light, but that we're also worthy of it. So this one's called Kihu Levado. And here we go. Poel Gevurot Oseh Chadashot Baal Milchamot Zorea Tzedakot Matzmiach Yeshuot Boreh Refuot Norah Tehilot Adon HaNiflaot Ki Hu Sion Ta'ir, V'nizkeh chulanu meheira li'oro. Poel Gevurot Oseh Chadashot Baal Milchamot Zorea Tzedakot Matzmiach Yeshuot Boreh Refuot Norah Tehilot Adon HaNiflaot Ki Hu Levado Hu Levado Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir V'nizkeh chulanu meheira li'oro. Make a new light shine over Zion, and may we be worthy of its light. Sion Ta'ir, V'nizkeh chulanu meheira li'oro. Oh yeah, we're live and rough around the edges over here. It's cool. This is good. This is a good challenge. I've never played that song. Well, played it once, but all right. So that one's Kihu Levado. I'm gonna pick it up a little now. So this one is one called Hashivenu. It's my kid's favorite because I just love the pattern of the new. Hashivenu, Avinu, L'Toratecha, V'Karvenu, Malkeinu. So this is a beautiful prayer that's in our Amidah and the Shemona Esrei every day. And Hashivenu means to return. And so this phrase comes up, obviously the idea of teshuvah and returning a lot on the high holidays, but it's actually every day that we say this. Hashivenu Avinu L'Toratecha, bring us closer, return us to your Torah, V'Karvenu L'Avodatecha, and bring us closer to the service. And then my favorite, and I had to make this the chorus because I felt like this was the the hook, the punchline, is that the blessing, the bracha, is actually harotzeh b'tshuvah. So we're calling God the one who wants, who desires us to return. So I think that's just such an important thing. I know I think of that a lot to remind myself that even when I feel like I'm fading or drifting, that that it's not just like returning is allowed, but it's actually desired. And so calling God harotzeh b'tshuvah, the one who wants us to return, I think flips it in such a positive way. So that's why this one's a little more upbeat, focusing on that part of it. I want to give a quick shout out to some of the musicians on this album that you're hearing from this amp. And I encourage you to all check it out. It's called Your Faith in the Night. It's out on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere you hear music. So Josh Grange produced it and played a bunch of instruments. He played everything like to drums and on this track, and organs and guitar and pedal steel, and he's a wizard, he really is. And on this, he invited his friend Lex Price, who's like a Nashville legend, or all-around legend. He was together with Josh. They were in Katie Lang's band forever. He's played with everybody. Anyway, I was just really honored to have him on this record. Lex Price, he plays upright bass, he played mandolin, played a bunch of things as well. And so he's on here too. So this one's called Hashivenu. Let's boost it a little, here we go. Hashivenu, Avinu, Torah Techa, Rekavenu, Makenu, Lavodatecha, Ve'achshivenu, Tshuva Shelema Lefanecha, Lefanecha, Hashivenu, Avinu, Torah Techa, Rekavenu, Makenu, Lavodatecha, Ve'achshivenu, Tshuva Shelema Lefanecha, Lefanecha, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah. Hashivenu, Avinu, Torah Techa, Rekavenu, Makenu, Lavodatecha, Ve'achshivenu, Tshuva Shelema Lefanecha, Lefanecha, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah, Harotzeh b'tshuvah. Might be time for a little tune here, okay. All right. Wow, I gotta say, even though playing some lives during COVID, it's still awkward. I like a stage where you interact with people and an audience. And anyway, we're having a good time in my living room, right? Yeah. All right. Cheers, Chaim. So, I'll do a couple more songs, and again, thanks to Erez for putting this all together and inviting me and inviting my wife Ora. Let's see. Let's do the Erez Safar. This is a fun one. We went a totally different direction than I initially thought with this one. These words are based on a small little prayer. Let's see if I can just. It's in the morning, right before we put on our tefillin, when we wrap our tefillin, and so yeah, here we go. The Erez Safar. Please turn to page 17. Yeah, there's nobody here. Okay, Ve'eras tichli. So I will betroth you to me forever. Ve'eras tichli le'olam. I will betroth you to me forever. Ve'eras tichli b'tzedek. I will betroth you to me in righteousness, uva mishpat, and justice, uva chesed, uva rachamim, and in loving kindness and compassion. Ve'eras tichli be'emunah. And I will betroth you to me in faithfulness. Ve'adata et Adonai. And you shall know the Lord. So here, it's actually quite a little romantic prayer. We're like being engaged to God, and as we're saying this as we wrap the tefillin around our ring finger. So it's like our wedding ring with God, and so that's the idea of it, and it's really, I think, beautiful words. And the culmination of it is viadat. That's why I also, because it's the end, but I chose that as the chorus because that feels like da'at, knowledge, is really like the deepest level of knowing, of being close, of intimacy. So that's why in the Torah, when people would be intimate together, it would say that they knew them, right? My dad likes to tell me that when he was a kid, he just heard like, oh, so he knew her. What's the big deal? I know lots of people. But anyway, so this is Ve'eras Tichli. And then the other thing for me was that when I went into the studio, I had this idea, and Josh nailed it in a second, that I really wanted it to blend. The way I was singing it as I was writing it sounded very old school chazanut. So my last name is Rosenblatt, and there's a famous cantor, Yosef Rosenblatt, which, depending on what circles I'm in, people always ask me if I'm related. So he's a distant cousin. There's another connection. And I wanted it to kind of sound like this old school Chazanu cantorial record. So when you listen to the record, the beginning is like a very scratchy record, and I sang it out like, Ve'eras tichli le'olam, ve'eras tichli. Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but that's the idea. And then I wanted it to shift into modern nowadays, and so there's this drum loop that comes in. So that's this one, Ve'eras tichli. In fact, you know what? Let's move things around a little. Let me just play drums on this, why not? Let's accent that instead of guitar. What do you guys think? I'll take that as a yes. Cool. Let's move the water and the whiskey. We've got to move things around here. We got Cajon sitting on this box. Those of you know what Cajon is. Shout out to my kids all sleeping right above me throughout all of this. I love it. Okay, here we go. Ve'eras tichli. Oh yeah. Ve'eras tichli le'olam. Ve'eras tichli b'tzedek. Well done there, Amp. All right, that's Erez Safar. That's the Cajon, if you couldn't see. And yeah, that song was so much fun. And I have to say, you know, I'm singing here live. As you can probably tell, it's a little messy. But if you listen to the album, you'll hear all the layers of harmony. We had so much fun. That song in particular, we got a little carried away with like some Beach Boys, Beatle-y background harmonies, like just layers and layers. So I think I've mentioned it a few times already, but definitely check out the album. And I'm gonna do, I think, a couple more songs. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in. This one's called Refanala. I've played this a few times, and this one is also one that I wrote a while ago. And there have been different variations of this song, actually. Originally, I wrote it just all in Hebrew, based on the prayer, again, that we say every day in the Amidah, Refa'enu Adonai B'nei Rafeh, we're asking for healing. And then I attached it to El Na Refana La, which I think is one of the first prayers recorded in the Torah, when Moshe says it on behalf of his sister Miriam, who has leprosy, and he just calls out. And I love that. I love that, you know, we have a whole prayer book of all these prayers, and they're all written for us. And then Moshe just calls out these El Na Refana La, 5 words, straight from his heart, spontaneous, and just so powerful. So I worked on that, just Hebrew, and then I worked on it together with my bandmate. I was in a band called The Wellspring, and my bandmate Talia, an incredible lyricist, singer, and she wrote some beautiful lyrics in English. So we have that version as well, where the verses are in English, the chorus is in Hebrew, and I love that one. We recorded that on an album. And then I went back to the all Hebrew one for this, but the motivation, actually, we had a close family friend who was in a coma, and I got to visit her in the hospital and play the song for her, and it was a very powerful experience. Thank God she actually survived. She's alive today. But the song is all about healing, so I want to dedicate it to a close family friend who's always been there for my family. He always took care of my grandmother in Annapolis, Maryland, so Glenn Carr. If you're listening, this one is for you. I hope you have a refuah shalema, like a full recovery, speedy recovery, and we really do have you in our prayers. And this just for anyone who needs healing, just to have them in mind for this song, Refanala. Please open my lips so I'm not afraid to beg of you now. I beg of you now. And not if I'm not alive. All right. Thank you, guys. Not gonna leave you like that. I'm gonna do one more song. This one is, you know what? I want to feature Leah Ziegler, who played violins on this. She's an incredible musician. I've had the opportunity to play with her a lot. She plays with Distant Cousins sometime, plays with my bandmate David and his band Moshe a lot. She's incredible. She has her own music, and she played on this album as well. And I wasn't going to do this song, but it's a sweet love song, Mi'adir al Hakol, which we say under the chuppah, under the canopy when people get married. And she played the violin on this. For all of you budding guitarists, this is the easiest song, C, E minor, F, G. So I encourage you to play it at a wedding. It's an easy one and good for harmonies and all that. And I absolutely love her solo. And so this one's a little selfish. I just want to hear her solo. So I'll leave you with this one. This is going to be my last one. Thank you again to Erez for putting it together. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks for Distant Cousins, my bandmates, for letting me use this page. And here's Mi'adir. All right. Mi'adir al hakol, mi'baruch al hakol, mi'gadol al hakol, mi'dagul al hakol, mi'adir al hakol, mi'baruch al hakol, mi'gadol al hakol, mi'dagul al hakol. Gadol hakol, midagul hakol, Take it, Leah. All right. Thank you to all the instrumentalists who were not here in the room, but I felt like they were with me. Joshua Grange, Lex Price, Leah Ziegler. Thank you all, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Erez, and please check out the full album. It's called Your Faith in the Night, Emunatcha BaLeilot. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that, and if you like it, just share it with your friends. Thanks so much, everybody.